In this video, we will analyze how Ukraine is starving Crimea of fuel. Here, Crimea is now running dry because Ukraine is not only destroying fuel assets, but dismantling the supply system that keeps it fueled. The result is strategically important, because once that system starts failing, Russia must choose between sustaining its army and preserving normal life in Crimea. Crimea has reached the point where the fuel shortage is impossible to hide, because empty pumps, long queues, and fuel rationing are now visible across Crimea. In Sevastopol, Russian authorities admitted that key gasoline grades were temporarily unavailable, while major fuel chains restricted sales after daily stocks disappeared within hours. Once civilians are openly competing for fuel at the retail level, Crimea is clearly consuming gasoline faster than Russia can replace it. That visible shortage begins with the road network, which remains the most exposed artery feeding fuel from Russia into Crimea. Ukrainian drones have been striking highways, expanding attacks to gas stations, and mining parts of the corridor, turning routine deliveries into high-risk runs. Russian civilian tanker drivers are refusing these trips, which shows that Ukrainian strikes are now deterring the people needed to keep fuel moving into Crimea. People are even cheering when a fuel tanker arrives, which shows that successful deliveries have become rare. Rail should have relieved some of the pressure on the roads, but instead it shows how limited Russia's remaining options have become. Companies are reluctant to provide fuel wagons for rail deliveries because those trains may be hit and cannot be insured, while fuel traffic over the Crimean bridge is reportedly restricted as well. Ukrainian strikes on fuel rail tankers in Krasnodar Krai show that even the rail network feeding Crimea is now under pressure before it reaches the region. Maritime delivery should have been another way for Russia to keep fuel flowing into Crimea, but this route is also failing under the same pressure. Ferry capacity has been degraded, replacement remains slow, crew shortages continue, and vehicle ferries face long queues before cargo even reaches Crimea. Ukraine also struck the sea oil terminal and fuel sites in Feodosia, showing that sea-based supply remains vulnerable even after arrival. Refining is also part of the problem, because strikes on Russian refineries leave Russia with less fuel to begin with. When deliveries into Crimea are already being disrupted, that smaller reserve makes every missed shipment harder to replace. As a result, shortages in Crimea are being driven not only by blocked roads, but also by weaker fuel supply behind them. That is why storage inside Crimea has become one of the most critical weak points in the entire fuel system. Repeated strikes on depots and tanks in Feodosia are hitting the reserve buffer that lets Russia survive transport delays without an immediate breakdown. Reports that private firms no longer want to store fuel also show that the problem is spreading beyond the main target sites. Once those storage buffers are lost, every missed delivery becomes a visible shortage much faster. Russian actions now show open fuel triage across Crimea, as limited supplies are being preserved for the army and state structures before they are supplied to everyone else. This matters because once fuel is allocated by priority instead of normal demand, Russia is no longer managing a shortage, but reorganizing the territory around scarcity. That also narrows Russia's flexibility, because fuel used to stabilize daily life can no longer be used freely once military and state structures are supplied first. In practice, this means Ukraine is not only draining fuel stocks, but forcing Russia to spend its remaining supply in a more rigid and inefficient way. Overall, this campaign is likely to force Russia into a worse choice over time: either commit more fuel and transport resources to sustaining Crimea, or accept weaker support for forces operating from it. That trade-off favors Ukraine, because every extra truck, escort, and reserve shipment tied down by Crimea is one less asset available for Russian operations. To watch uncensored combat footage that we used in this report, check out our interactive news map. Here we are unrestricted by the YouTube policies and can finally show you the full, uncut version of what really happened. But what is even more important, this map will give you access to all our analysis of significant events that go far beyond of what we can include in our short daily videos. Finally, we are officially releasing the second generation of our interactive map. What you are seeing on your screen right now is a significantly enhanced and far more powerful version of the map that has even more advanced features and news analytics tools. To celebrate the launch of the new map, we're also launching a 50% sale on all subscription plans. Starting from just $4.99, you will not only gain premium access to the map, but you will also unlock all our exclusive strategic updates, frontline overviews, and strategic geopolitics videos. So check out the link in the description to become an exclusive member of our community. I truly appreciate everyone who stepped up to join us. Your support means the world to us.